got 10.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Yes. Oh gosh, we're running late. I think you're up, right, Ben? Okay, are y'all ready to get started? All right, you'll stand for the pledge.
American flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas flag. Honor
Under
the
the
Texas.
Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Let us pray. God, we thank you for this day you've given us. We ask for your blessings as we move forward each and every day ahead. God, we ask you to bless the people of our county and ask for your help to keep everyone healthy and safe. And please give those people that are sick the strength to heal. We pray for your guidance and wisdom to make wise decisions for our county. We also pray you look after our first responders and our emergency personnel and keep them out of harm's way. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Anybody?
I have one,
Oh,
but that's it. That's all. Thanks, Dwight. All right, the first item on the agenda is public comment, which is limited to 5 minutes per person, and we have a signed participation form from Kelly Riddle. Kelly? Yeah, you want to come up to the podium?
I'm here on behalf of Lake Merritt Harbor. We still haven't had anyone come out to check our septics. You know, we've been working with this for the last 4 years. And Jeremy's not coming out. We're just wondering when we're going to get someone out there. We call him, he doesn't respond. You know, we've got illegal septics out there. No one's doing anything about it.
Have y'all contacted the treasurer's office? You could contact our office so we could stay on top of him to get him to go out there, but
We've done everything.
and we have to report those to TCQ. So if we're not getting any complaints through our office, then we can't stay on top of him. So we don't know if you're calling him directly.
We're going through
Yeah,
our
they-
commissioner.
Right, so y'all need to, if y'all can contact the treasurer's office, we'll see what we can do to, take care of that situation as well.
Because he's not responding to us, and we've got a lot, people are coming out there now and starting to be, oh. You've got to have more than just the 50 by 100 lot to put one on, and they're telling us they're gonna do it, and we won't give them a building permit until they get one from him. And
And then if we come up here and get the permit, so they have to come and apply for the permit
right,
to be able to have that septic.
I understand that, and we've told them that. And we've called Jeremy on the ones that are already, that people are putting in without a permit, and he does not respond to us.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been doing this for
If
4
you can
years.
give me a list of those complaints of the different addresses, then we'll make sure that we get someone.
yeah, we have that.
They have, she
Yeah,
had,
you do have that.
yeah. We've already,
So
done it.
you haven't sent those.
Those were,
our requests
those were
to
sent
you?
4 years ago. Yes, we will.
Okay.
we've been, like I said, we've been dealing with this, and we send them, and, he even came out one day and drove around and saw where one of them was just, somebody was not even hooked up to anything, it's just coming out of his house, his trailer. It's been done. And then our next thing is, I went through our,
Miss Kelly, you talk to the court, please.
the next thing is the taxes being collected. I complained a while back about going through and looking at some of the back taxes, and 3 blocks out in Lake Meredith Harbor. 3 blocks is all I looked at, and there was over $20,000 in back dues. And Mr. Parksy talked to Carrie. And Carrie called me. I was on vacation and I was up in the mountains, so I didn't get a call until later. And I told her, I said, you know, I just looked through the first 3 blocks and I found $20,000. Her answer to that was, if you'll start making me a list of what's that due, then I'll do it. But I don't think that's my job. I think that's her job as a tax collector and an assessor to go back and, I mean, if I can find, and then one guy had $6,000. I found his heirs because he had passed away in 15 minutes. She told me it's going to take 1.5 to 2 years to find everybody. All I did was pull up his death, his obituary, found where his children were, got their addresses, everything. So I'm just wondering why y'all are, our taxes are being raised, but you're not collecting these. You know, as the commissioners, y'all should be in there saying, look, these people have back taxes they need to be collected. We were told that they had to be over $300 before y'all would even, she would even start anything on them. $6,000 is a lot, and it's from 2011. We've got a lot of them that are from 2006. Like I said, and just those 3 blocks, that's, you know, that's a lot of money. So I can imagine what it would be on all of our blocks, because we've got like 2,400 blocks out there. So I'm just, you know, thinking that as commissioners and everything else, county clerks, whatever, y'all need to make sure that this stuff is getting done. It is y'all's responsibility to represent us. And whenever we've got people not paying their taxes and nothing's being done, it makes people that pay their taxes go, well, why should we pay it if they're not going to have to ever pay it? You know, I need to think about that. That's what I had to say.
All right, thank you. Okay, any other public comments? Okay. Item 3 on the agenda is to consider and or approve the minutes from our previous commissioners court meeting.
No corrections or additions to the regular meeting of July 24th, 2023 and special meeting August 2nd, 2023.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes from the last commissioners court meeting.
And I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Item 4 is to consider and or approve the county auditor's tabulated report to the commissioners court. Y'all received that? Any questions on that? Do I hear a motion?
I move to accept the auditor's report to the commissioners court.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right. Item 5 is to review the bills. Does anyone have any questions on the bills or discussion? Do I hear a motion to approve the bills?
Move to pay the bills as presented. Second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the bills. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Amy, do you have any payroll?
Yes, I have total payroll for wages was $612,977. The total payables for payroll was $246,097.27 with the total of $859,074.87.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve payroll?
Move to approve payroll.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, we're gonna jump around just a little bit because we do have some guests here and I don't want to make y'all sit through all of this if you don't want to, but we do have representatives from the Child Welfare Board here today to just present their yearly and their 2023-24 budget. So who's going to do that?
I think we're all.
Okay, all right.
Callan needs a lot of encouragement.
Well, we appreciate y'all coming.
Well, thank you for having us. Judge, Commissioners, County Clerk, thanks for having us. We want to say thank you for your continued support of the Child Welfare Board. Without your funding, we couldn't do all that we do for the kiddos in Hutchinson County. So we want to say thank you for that. Right now, we're in the midst of back to school. So we've got 49 kiddos in conservatorship currently. Thus far, 19 have been shopped for or reimbursed, which sounds like not very many, but like myself, last minute is always a good thing. So we received one September the 22nd. So we anticipate we'll have those flooding in and we should expend the rest of our funding before the new budget year starts. So we just want to say thank you.
Okay.
And Carrie has a little story she wants to
I just
share.
wanted to tell a little story. I shopped with a mom on Friday and she actually was adopting her niece who is 5 years old. And she had adopted 4 other nephews, I think. And she said she'd had her since she's 1, but it had slowed down. COVID had slowed down the adoption process, but she had hoped to close up by December. But she said she was so grateful for the school clothing for the little 5-year-old, because she said the other 4 kids that came from a different county, they have nothing from that county. And she said, I just had to figure out how to do it, because if I couldn't do it, then they would have to go to non-relative foster care. And she said, because of y'all, I can take in this girl. I got some help. I'm going to adopt her. She's going to be with her family. And so she was very, very grateful. She got some super cute little girl clothes. And our shopping has been wonderful this year. I think the best that we've had in a long time, because we lost JCPenney's, and so we only had Walmart to pick through, but now we have Bell's, we've had Shoe Sensation. They've all worked out deals with us. They see us coming in. They're like, let us help y'all, let us do. And they
Good.
found a lot of clothes for a little money. So
Right. Good.
Awesome.
Good.
great.
I just want to thank you again for your support.
All right. And you indicated no changes to your budget for the new year. Okay.
And Diane's on vacation, but she said she will send you the treasurer ledger.
Yeah, she's good about sending that every month. Yeah.
She's on top of it. And she's gone down. I told her not to do it on vacation. It will be okay. Just
Yeah. Perfect.
Thank
Right.
you all for what you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for taking care of our kiddos. Okay, at this time, we're gonna go into executive session, section 551072, deliberations about real property, and then also section 551074, personnel matters. So we're gonna start with the deliberations about real property. So if everyone can just have a seat out in the hallway. Craig. Okay. Y'all feel better? Okay. Oh, here, Gary. Will you and Ben sign that? Okay, we are on item 9, consider and or approve any action from executive session. No action at this time. So item 10 is to consider and or approve rules of procedure, conduct, and decorum at meetings of the Hutchinson County Commissioners Court. So this last time that we did this was 2019, so I needed to update this. It is just me not getting that done. I kind of forgot about it. So it's just updating it. These are, I got directly off of the TAC website. And so they're pretty standard. Does anyone have any questions? I know y'all have a copy of them. Or I sent you all a copy. Does anyone have any questions on the rules and procedure?
No.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to adopt those rules?
To approve rules and procedures, conduct and decorum at meetings of the Hutchinson County Commissioners Court.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor? I'll give you, sign a copy of that. Oh, wait, let me see if everyone needs to sign that. I'm cast this way, so y'all can sign it. Okay. All right, item 11, consider and or approve notice and order of special election, November the 7th, 2023 constitutional amendments. Here, Ben. Kelly, this is the special
Yes, it's a
election.
special election for November 7th. It's constitutional amendment. There are 14 amendments. The governor just signed the proclamation so we could order it, and we have until August 21st to get this posted. The notice, or so he didn't give us much time.
Okay,
But this is so we can proceed with the election.
okay, do I hear a motion to approve the order of special election?
I'm gonna make a motion. Order this special election.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? I'll lay that right here and I'll get it signed, okay?
I think the commissioners signed this.
Yes, and this is the order. At the bottom. All right, you can just pass it that way. We have a lot of signing today.
Just sign this one anywhere.
Yes.
That's for
This
that.
doesn't specify your names at the bottom, but yes.
All right, item 12 is to consider and or approve the notice of consolidated precincts for the special election.
Yes, so we consolidate to 5 precincts on a constitutional amendment election.
They do
just
that every
because,
time,
yes, the
right?
turnout is lower and so we don't have to have 8 precincts open. We consolidate, and we'll post that at the locations where they're consolidated. They will know where to go, and it's the same
Consolidation that we always do.
exactly.
Okay,
It's not different at all.
No.
Oh, okay.
okay, yes, do I hear a motion?
Move to approve the notice of consolidated precincts for the special election in November.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay,
Seconded, Gary, did you second?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
and I need to sign these. Okay, all right. Sign this after we get there. Okay. All right, item 13 is to consider and or approve the $1,000 bond for Shasta K. Hughes with the Hutchinson County Juvenile Probation. This is just her renewal, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I move to approve the $1,000 bond for Shasta K. Hughes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right, item 14 is to consider and or approve engagement letter from Dozier, Pickens and Francis. They do our outside audit, and this is for fiscal year September 30th, 2023.
Yeah.
And they sent, I believe I sent you all a copy of that engagement letter. And so you all had a chance to see, did they go up a little bit?
You know, I
Alicia?
thought about that last night and I didn't work for it.
Here, let me. They've done a great job for us the last few years, so we've been very happy with the work that they do for us. Is there a,
This year it was. I paid them in July.
27 something or 20?
That's right.
Yeah, it was 27 something.
We paid last year 27, or we're paying the contract?
Here's 27,400.
27,400.
It will not exceed 27,400.
What this year's contract?
Yeah, it was about that last year.
That's a little cheaper because we went out for bids for that just to make sure. And it was
Right,
like,
and
yeah.
have anybody. Didn't have anybody come back with a proposal. They're pretty low.
Do I hear a
We
motion?
budgeted 29 last year because we thought we might have to have a single audit.
That single audit. Right.
So I think it was the same last year as 27.
I move that we approve the engagement letter. Over Pickens and Francis for next year.
Second.
Second. All right, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Item 15 is to consider and or approve the DMV optional county fee for calendar year 2024. This is the $10 road and bridge fee. Is that, did I say that right, Carrie? Yeah. This is the $10 road and bridge fee. That's the only optional fee that we have. And if we don't want to make any changes to that, because there is a child safety fee we could collect, correct? But we do not collect that. Okay. Any
So
questions?
that's what I was gonna ask. I couldn't find that report. Is that the same as last year?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
You
exactly.
said
the same.
that, but I didn't know if we were increasing it or not.
Yeah. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Go ahead.
I move to approve the DMV optional county fee for 2024.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right, item 16 is to consider and or approve the sheriff and constable fees. And I believe, Andy, that they're the same as last year. I don't think there were any changes made on those fees, correct? Okay. So do I hear a motion to accept those fees?
I move to accept the sheriff and constable fees for 2023-24.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Oh. Consider, item 17 is to consider and or approve the UniFirst agreement. Did we get those changes made?
I'll see him in the morning. He comes once a week. He'll be there in the morning and I'll be to work on that.
Okay. Can the approval of the agreement wait until next commissioner's court or would, if they make those changes, Craig is fine with that contract?
I'll probably table it until May because I don't know what we're gonna say.
Okay. So It was time for Dwayne to re-up on his UniFirst contract where they get their uniforms. And so Craig looked over it and he just had a few things that needed to be added to the contract just for the county legal stuff. And so if you guys are okay and Dwayne's okay, we'll just table that. And once we get an agreed on contract, then we can bring it back to the court. Okay, so I think I need a motion to table.
The table. First agreement.
I'll second it.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, item 18 is to consider and or approve the interlocal agreement with Hansford County for seal coating.
This is just the same interlocal agreement we do every year, just job specific, just to go up there and help them get their seal coating done.
How long is this
Greg's
going to
already
take?
looked at it.
How many days?
Probably 6. Yeah, it depends if we get 2 transport loads of tar a day, we'll do it in less time, but it looks like about 6 days probably. If they're doing quite a bit for sure.
And Craig has,
The whole crew just.
yeah, Craig has looked at the agreement. He's good with everything on there. Y'all have any questions for Dwayne? Do I hear a motion to approve?
Move to approve the interlocal agreement with Hansford County for seal coating.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Thank you, Dwayne. And then we have item 19, consider and or approve pipeline crossing on County Road 4.
This is Rock Creek Energy. They're needing to run a 4-inch poly line across County Road 4 to get some natural gas to a farmer on the other side. So since it's a local utility, I'd like to waive the $1,000 fee and give them permission to put it in.
Any questions for Dwayne?
Was this we don't have a system where I can look back. Is this one we did last year also?
No, this is a new one.
Okay.
We do a lot of these type of things.
Okay, I would remember seeing County Road 4. I tried to look to see if we already agreed to that, but
Yeah, there's been several of them go in up there.
Oh.
Different companies providing natural gas now, and it's more like a co-op now who you get your gas from. So
okay.
there's a lot of the road crossings.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve pipeline crossing on County Road 4.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Thank y'all.
Okay, thanks, Dwayne. Hey, Dwayne, do you want this? Or do you just want to sign it? And then do you get it to whoever needs?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
After she gets a copy.
Okay. I'll give it to Kelly and then you can get it from her. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, item 20 is to consider and or approve the interlocal agreements with City of Stinnett, City of Rich, and City of Sanford for the outdoor public warning system. Gary, did you have anything on that or?
These are the interlocal agreements that we talked about. We approved the siren, countywide siren system. The agreements were written up and sent to, we had a couple of changes we wanted to make. Those were made on this agreement. This is kind of wanted to bring this to the court just so y'all could look at it and see if there's any adjustments we needed to make, or if y'all are happy to have this one as far as who's going to take on the maintenance and what size. So if you had seen the exhibit on each of those interlocal agreements, you'd see which sirens that we were presenting as far as what municipality would take over maintenance for which sirens.
So the only one I didn't send y'all was Sanford, and they all read the same. I just got it in like later.
So it's the same wording as.
It is the same wording, and Craig has okayed all of these.
As far as the maintenance, I think the city should take care of the maintenance on anything in the city limits.
This was the agreement, this one was, is so they would take the maintenance on the inside of the city limits, their immediate area as well. So it would kind of offset some of the costs that we're putting up front for the purchase of the siren. So it'd be like Stinnett would be Scott Acres and then the county barn siren as well.
So like
So they'd have.
anything close to outside the city limits, they would still do.
Right, normally it's like right now, the city of Stinnett is also the Scott Acres siren is tied into the city of Stinnett. So I kind of left it, it's really basically the same, other than in the Fritch area, there's additional sirens that's gonna be installed as well, several additional sirens.
So how many sirens, say, does Fritch have
Fritch, there's total of 8 sirens in the Fritch area.
in the area?
Yeah,
They'll
yeah.
take care of the
Now, they've
maintenance.
got 3 or 4 in the city limits, and then the rest of them will be outside.
Correct.
So the only, can I speak on this, Judge? The only problem I have with this whole thing is, and I should have said something, but it came up so fast and is over with so fast. But I do not like the idea of border citizens having to pay for theirs, and then everybody else gets theirs free. That's a problem with me.
Borger didn't pay for theirs.
Huh?
How did Borger pay for theirs?
Well, we're not paying for any border sirens. They've already done theirs.
Right, but
That's how.
That's true.
I mean,
So on the
should
on the original grant that we were gonna submit, there was 5 sirens that Border was adding to that original grant. And once the grant, we did not get the grant on the original application, we didn't get that grant. Border had already budgeted to, in their normal budget, they were gonna upgrade if they got the grant or not. So in that side, Border had already budgeted for it. As soon as we didn't get the grant, Border decided to go ahead and go forward getting onto that new system. So they purchased their own outside of the county going towards a countywide system. So they were going to do it anyway, even if budget or grant. So
yeah, still doesn't seem fair to me. I mean, and I understand some of them can't pay for the whole thing. And, you know, I'm not saying that they need to pay for all of it, but I think it would have been better if they'd have paid for some of it.
The money we got for ARP included the population of the entire county. So the
Yes.
border people got us money too, that we're spending on Fritch and Sanford. So, I mean, it's apples and oranges, I think.
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay,
I mean, the reason we got so much money is because of the people that live in Fritch, Stinnett, and Borger. It's not because of the land that we have out in the county. So taking care of the residents in Fritch and Stinnett and Sanford with that money that we also got add extra money from the people that live in Borger, I think kind of cancels that out.
I guess, how many sirens will the county have to maintain?
So the county would take on the responsibility of Golf Course Edition, Meadowlark, and Bugby. Those would be the 3 that the county would maintain.
That's the only ones we will be taking care of.
In this proposal, like I said, if y'all wanted to for the maintenance, if y'all wanted to take responsibility and budget everything outside of municipality city limits, that's completely up to y'all. Y'all make that
No,
decision.
we're good.
I mean,
I'm just saying, the reason why we read it.
We're covering
this
it now.
was the county is putting a lot towards the initial purchase, installation, and getting the system going onto a repeater system, which is a lot more redundant. Everything is backed up. It's going to be a very good system. And the county is putting up everything up front to purchasing and getting it going. That's why on the maintenance side of it, and already speaking with the representatives of these communities. Once y'all approve it, we're going to take it to them. However, y'all see that this needs to go forward. If y'all want to make the adjustments, I'll take it to them and they can decide if they want to go forward with that.
I have nothing against the siren system. I think that'd be great. It's just that idea.
And I see what you're saying on that side, but also Border had already decided they're going with the siren system when that was happening. So one way or another, they're either going to buy it themselves or get it on that grant. So they decided, I guess you could say that by them not waiting for 3 more years, then they bought their sirens themselves. If they would have waited, we might have been able to add it to this project, but they didn't want to wait. they went ahead and purchased it.
So the only thing on this agreement, it talks about maintenance. How is the replacement gonna be addressed? When we have to replace the entire thing? I mean, it's gonna be us again?
On the entire side. I mean, in the maintenance, I think it specifically says just the maintenance.
Right.
So well, it also says in the repairs, so if there's anything that needs to be repaired on the siren outside of, I mean, it's pretty basic as far as the equipment in it, it's, the motorized or mechanical piece in the siren or the electronics end of it, which there is some warranties on the electrical, depending on what actually happens, if it's lightning strikes or certain things that are warranted somewhere. So as far as replacing the entire device, I think you might have to replace pieces in the device, but I don't know about the entire head itself.
But worst case scenario, though, if we do after warranty, that would be on us, is how the agreement reads, right?
I would think if it was an entire replacement, yes.
Okay.
The outside of that, the repairs, if there's say a control board that goes out.
Right.
Anything like that would, in the agreement, would be on the entity that's responsible for this.
Okay.
Seems like a total replacement should be a totally different thing.
They should have.
It's flying around.
I know, it's driving me crazy.
You'll want
On camera.
Okay, right. All right, any further discussion or questions for Jerry on that? Or do I hear, if y'all are ready, do I hear a motion?
I move to approve the proposed interlocal agreements to be taken to the city of Stinnett, Fritch, and Sanford for the outdoor public warning system.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for each of these interlocal agreements. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, item 21 is to consider and or approve any ARP grant projects. I don't have any at this time. 21 is to consider and or approve the burn ban or rescind the burn ban.
We're only at a 347. Let's getting up there pretty quick with temperatures. We've had a lot of wildfire outbreaks down south. We have a lot of people that are assisting the building right now. So right now, I'm gonna recommend no action on the burn ban. After next week, so we'll see how quick it gets up there. We got a bunch of 100-degree days coming.
Yay. All right, thank you. 23, consider and or approve disposal of obsolete office equipment. And we have one request from the tax assessor for some equipment, a shredder and a fax machine. Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve the disposal of obsolete office furniture as requested by the department. Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay.
Can I ask a question that has nothing to do with what was submitted?
Yes.
So when you, like, let's say we take down a door that's damaged, is that obsolete furniture also? Does that need to come to the court?
What are you going to do with it?
No, I was like, it's damaged. So
It'd be hard to
throw it
sell.
away. If it's not working in the closet.
No.
Okay,
Use it as a.
La, la, la.
someone brought that to my attention. I'm like, broken things are thrown.
Yeah.
Okay. Want to make sure.
Okay. Item 24, accept certificates of completion from elected or appointed officials.
And we have one for Carrie Kimmel, tax assessor collector, submitted certificate for Texas cybersecurity course mandated by House Bill 3834, Secretary of State, 1 hour completed.
Okay. Item 25, consider and or approve request for the use of the club rooms at the Borger Library. Or oh, okay. Item 26, consider and or approve line item changes, transfers, or budget amendments.
Three budget amendments, one is for the insurance proceeds that we received for the hail damage to the precinct 2 barn. One is to move the insurance proceeds that we received in the prior year for the border library into the maintenance line item so that they can offset those costs. And then the other is for the approved siren project for the ARP, moving those funds out of
ARP.
well, because we had only budgeted for $1 million, so we had to, the stuff that we were planning on using for this next budget year, we had to move into this budget year, so I had to make those. Oh, and then the fourth one is to establish the county attorney supplement fund.
Right.
And then on the line item transfers, we just had several budget or departments moving stuff from one line item to another. And then the one I want to point out is the contingency. I moved 50,000 out of the contingency line item into the appraisal district to offset some legal fees.
Right, any
We got a
questions?
$20-something thousand invoice, but I expected probably some extras. So just to be safe, I did 50. And that leaves $146,826 in the contingency fund.
How much did you say?
146,186
Okay,
or 826. Right, brain is not working today.
still stuck on September 31st?
Yes. Budget has spread.
Yes. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the line item changes.
Motion and second, any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Item, I signed
Oh,
it,
you have one?
yeah, or we signed it.
Perfect.
Item 27, consider and or approve advertising, opening, accepting or awarding bids.
I don't have any.
We do for the barn you just mentioned. We would need to go out for bids on that and
For the what?
So, usually you do a form to give me the specs. and then I'll
okay, the
bring that-
scope of work.
Yeah.
Okay,
Whenever we get all the specs and stuff from the advertisement, then we'll approve it to go out for ad.
okay.
Item 28, consider and or approve donations to Hutchinson County. 29, consider and or approve reports from elected or appointed officials.
July 2023 reports were submitted by Kelly Ratliff, County Clerk, Tammy McBrayer, District Clerk, Leslie Ford, Justice of the Peace Precinct 1, Amanda Wysong, Justice of the Peace Precinct 2. Amy Back, County Treasurer, submitted July 2023 financial report with a taxable rate as of August 7th, 2023 of 5.2840%. Dwayne Chisholm, Road Superintendent, submitted written report for July 24th, 2023 through August 13th, 2023. We also received the Hutchinson County Child Welfare Board. They submitted revenue and expense report as of June 30th, 2023. That's all I have.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve those reports?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Item 30, discussion of county judges and commissioners precinct daily operations.
We got the striping done over there at the annex.
Stephen,
Yeah,
well,
they did that the night, after 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I saw 'em.
Friday, they came back and painted after they got everything blown out of there. The only thing that I didn't approve of was at the back. They didn't paint the steps, with the yellow.
Oh, yeah.
Steps, they're gonna come back and do that.
Oh, good. Okay.
When they do another job here in Boulder, so. And then Russell and I are gonna go out to the airport this week and look it over to see where we're gonna consolidate the security cameras and get them all on the same track. So we're gonna look and see where we need them and try to use our grant funds for that, our rent grant and our insurance money.
Okay. And what's the status of the house?
We need to tear it down.
Yeah.
We need to have the county crews come out there and do it, and then we'll just have to pay out of the insurance money, the cost for disposal.
Okay.
I don't know if that air conditioning unit's any good. After a fire like that, I don't know.
Wouldn't think so.
You talking about the outside unit?
Yeah, it was out on stilts beside the house, still standing there, so I don't know. But that's what needs to happen, and I guess since we've gotten all the insurance money, we can go ahead and start on that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll talk to Dwayne about it. When they get free.
Winter, maybe.
When it snows.
Yeah, anybody else have anything in your precinct? Okay,
Roof is still being worked on at the library, should be done this week.
so. All right, item 31 is to consider and or approve the sale of struck off tax properties and tax deeds. I have a couple. I think, Ben, are both of these yours?
I only have one.
Oh, okay.
Well,
818 Clark Avenue
that's mine.
in Stinnett, submitting an offer of $1,000 has been made by Andrew Trahern. Taxes haven't been paid since 2011, was struck off in 22. And the appraisal district has it appraised at $3,600.
I'd agree.
Is it just an empty lot?
It's just an empty lot. It's actually, they've already cleaned up most of the junk there.
Yes, Sandy,
They're,
Is that it?
well, down just a
it's
little,
just a empty lot.
It wasn't.
Oh,
actually,
Have all the.
it looks good now.
Not been mowing it.
I don't know if I'd say that. I don't know if I'd say that. You don't get reimbursed. It looks good though. They have a lot of stuff on it.
No mobile home. To be honest, I got the other 4 lots, I thought I had those. And then I paid to have the old mobile home and all the junk removed and the tires. And I've been on it, and then I found out that I didn't go that far over, so I put it on.
Might as well buy it now.
all right. Do
Yeah.
y'all have any further discussion on that, or do I hear a motion?
I move to accept $1,000 for the 4 lots at 818 Clark Stinnett.
And I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? And then the other property is located at 0 Camino Real and 0 Princesa Villa.
So it's actually 16 lots and they're all vacant property out in Bugby area. And
The Retreta del Plano.
yes, in that area. And everything, I mean, literally, it's just vacancy, hills and valleys and things like that. So they're asking about
Like that.
about $200 a lot,
Mm.
and there's 16 lots. And so
That's submitting an offer of 200 per lot, and there's 16 lots, so $3,200 has been made by Alicia Ann Cooper. And then taxes have not been paid on those properties ranging from 1987 to 1989. They were struck off in 2000 and appraised anywhere from 370 to 385 per lot.
yes. So I feel like 200 for that is sufficient for that amount of lots. So I move to accept the bid at $3,200 for those 16 lots to get them back on the tax roll.
Okay. Do I hear a second? Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, item 31 is the budget work session for the budget year 2023-2024. And one of the things that see, there was the $3,000 we needed to add to the tax assessor's budget
Yes.
for the desk and fridge. Did you get that added, Leisha?
I have not.
Okay, so that's not on this
No.
proposed.
And I asked Carrie's
can get-
permission. I didn't just add something to someone's budget.
Right.
Carrie said it was okay to add that.
So get to hers.
It's, what's her number? What's your number, Carrie?
499.
499, Jerry. Go, just keep going down.
That makes it easier for you.
And just for security reasons, I wanted to upgrade the desk at the tax assessor's office in Ridge. So at this current time, anytime the janitor or maintenance service goes up there after hours, Robin has to go and be in that office, and sometimes it's 10 o'clock at night. And so simply because we'd like to just make it more secure in that office. And so I found a couple of desks. Still working on the measurements and making sure, because it's a little room. And so I'd hate to get something cool
It is a
looking and then
little
not be able to use it. So I'm double and triple checking the measurements before we purchase anything.
So it doesn't let you do that.
So that's why I'm adding that couple prices I found. The desk range from 3,400 to 2,400. You're the only one listening, so yeah, what do you think about that? Pretty good?
She really wasn't. She really wasn't. She just was.
We just, yeah, thank you.
She's the
They're
only,
working on a spreadsheet.
she's the only one
so-
selling the fact that she was.
Yeah.
I'm good at it. So does that go into the office improvements line item?
That's what I was thinking, but it's really whatever Carrie would like.
Okay. So it's at $2,000 right now, so we want to make that 5,000.
Office improvements, yeah.
Work and it'll show. $2,000. Right under 3,000 or 3,300.
Yeah, right there. Whoa, whoa, not all of it. I don't think it won't let Jerry change it. will it?
No, it won't.
No, it's just that.
Whoa.
Whoa. What you doing?
It looked cool now.
So we're gonna change that from 2,000 to 5,000.
Correct,
Okay,
yes.
I've got that marked and I'll get that corrected for the proposed budget. The things that I wanted to point out, I did reevaluate the fuel on all of the departments that had the fuel. I pulled the predicted fuel cost from the Department of Energy or somebody, and they're predicting $3.45, so that's the price that I used. I had used $3.16 previously, so I upped that to $3.45.
So everybody's fuel line item went up a little bit.
Yes.
Okay.
And I can go.
It's going to go up.
What you have for the museum?
So after we talked about the museum last time, and I said, we don't really have any repairs I can think of. Clay called me and said that the air conditioner, one of the air conditioners was old, went out. So wanted to bring it to the court that we can either use contingency this year or add it to the budget for next year, but it's either gonna be a $2,000 compressor that we have to replace or $8,000 total unit to replace. And I'm waiting on West Texas to call me back. Because if we can get 5 to 10 years out of the new compressor, I'd rather go that route. But if he says it's going to give a year, we might as well just do that. So I didn't know, I wanted to bring it to the court and say, I don't know if we need to raise the building maintenance for next time or just do it out of the contingency this year since it was unforeseen. Since we have a month and a half left, I didn't know what your wishes would be.
Will they be able to get it done before?
They said probably, but I'm waiting for him to call so I can get it. And he did call me. He called me about an hour ago. I got a voicemail. I didn't listen to it yet, but so I waited last week for them to call and they were understandably busy. So hopefully today I can get that kind of figured out of what the price would be.
So it's not working at all right now? I say we get it.
Yeah, get it
fixed if
done.
we can.
Well,
If
the
we can get it
compressor will
done-
get us several more years than the
Right.
compressor. But if the whole unit's old and he thinks just a year, I want to talk to him first because he looked at it and I just hadn't got a call yet from him.
So we still have time to look at it before we
Yeah.
find out.
And we don't have to have the proposed budget, or we don't have to have the finalized budget until when?
We're adopting on the 11th of September.
Okay,
So we can make changes up until then.
okay. That's the only thing I have. I'll look into that more and kind of get a more firm pricing on that.
Okay.
Another thing that I wanted to point out in Carrie's budget is that we had to increase the appraisal district. His preliminary was pretty low, but it was based on his really conservative preliminary values. We haven't gotten that from him yet. I think he's gonna get it, but I went ahead and jumped it up to 334,700. I think that's gonna be about closer to what it is based on certified values. Certified values were nearly $1 billion more, or 907 million more than preliminary values. But when I get that from Joe, I'll correct it to what it actually is.
Okay, what else? Lisa, what else on the budget do we need to? I want.
We still need to talk about the constable one's budget. Or if it's good the way that it is.
Think,
Or at least for the proposed budgets.
right, for the proposed budget, probably leave it like it is. We need to talk about our elected officials starting salaries.
Yes.
So I have that, the proposal that I think Dwight sent out to y'all. But we think there's a lot more to consider than what we initially, it seemed like a great concept because we are eventually going to potentially have to cut services so we can pay salaries, but I don't think it's going to work to set base salaries for our elected officials. So say when one leaves office, another one starts at a lower pay. It could cause some, I just think, as it's been brought to our attention, it could cause some election issues.
Yeah, I would think so.
Thoughts?
Well, when this originated, it was about 3 years ago when I was newly appointed. And the treasurer's office and a lady in TAC was talking about where we rank in Hudson County versus other counties.
Our size.
Our size.
Mhm.
And so they said there may be something we're going to have to do. And I believe Commissioner before me, Dell, and Chris, I believe, talked about it even before I was here. Something they kind of started looking at, and I had some free time, so I started visiting and finding out kind of what it is. And it's not a cookie cutter answer. There isn't this is what you should do, but it is something we need to keep in our minds, whether we do anything now. But if we keep, let's just roughly estimate, keep giving raises every year at 3% or more, within 10 to 15 years, we may be topsy-turvy. We may have and again, I'm speculating, we may have too much salaries and we won't be able to buy equipment. So there's not like I said, there's not a direct answer. This is what we should do, but it's something we need to think about. And if that starts in our departments managing, I think some of our offices do have clerk 1, 2, and 3 positions. I think our sheriff's department needs to think about tiers.
Base.
Our road and bridge needs to think about some tiers. Not everybody should just come in just by the person who left before them. But going back to elected officials, that one's a little tough. So I visited with a couple of counties and they said, well, and I love what Hudson County has. But they said, we're all trying on our end to just get up to a comparable salary.
Yeah.
Hudson County's already exceeded that.
Yeah.
And so we're not in the same boat as Hudson County. And so we don't have to wrestle with those issues yet because we're just trying to compete where you guys have already succeeded the comparable salaries. So I don't have any answers. I put some numbers on a paper 2 years ago and just resubmitted those when this topic came back up again. Did as best of due diligence as I could to figure out what a comparable salary, but I didn't take in consideration some of the things that have come across since we proposed this.
Right.
And so I appreciate all the input from the elected officials but I don't have an answer. I know there should be an answer, but I don't have one today. I have some numbers I put on paper.
I'm like what you said, is there's no cookie cutter.
No. And I know we can't keep kicking the can down the road.
I think the only thing that you could do is not pay raises for inflation. Leave your pay the same. It will catch up eventually to where you want it, I think.
That's option, yeah.
And then the problem of leaving that is health insurance goes up, then we're actually given a decrease. I know you don't base the
Yeah.
salary on that, but there's a lot of.
Trying to say is like, inflation, if you think you're paying more than most counties, you lower your raises down, inflation will balance you out. And then vice versa, if you're underpaid, but there is no clear answers to using elected officials. That's
That's what we
Amy,
have
did
to
you have a
decide.
comment?
I did do a spreadsheet of like the population of the surrounding counties. I don't know if y'all would like to see that. It did show each elected official and what this was last year's, on Wednesday, if y'all like to see that. I did do that.
Sure. I've looked through the salary book, the book we get from TAC. Yeah, and then I don't know if you want to look at, and those are a little more current. These are all counties about our
Yeah,
size.
these are about our size.
Oh, okay.
I think the biggest one, of course, is Potter, but
I think the cost of living anymore here and Potter is around the same from the census. And I also. I agree that, something from my opinion, that it does need to be lowered, but I thought that these proposed were a little too low. Personally, that was my opinion.
I printed it off in every scenario you could think. The top 26 counties, global population, you can print it off however you want.
Right.
We're always up toward the top. It's right up top 10% typically.
Pretty close to more, actually, I thought, on our wages.
Does any of our other electeds have any comments?
Well, I do. I saw the numbers that July, or whatever, and I personally think that was way low. Because I know what, as a tax assessor, what you have to do. You have to do all these classes within a certain time frame. You have to pass tests, and then you have to get your 20 ACEs each year. And I mean, it's a lot of work. And plus, you got 3 offices to keep. It's not 8 to 6, 4 days a week. We're here on weekends, you know, I see Kelly here. I mean, we're here working. And so I don't think you should drop it that much. I mean, you want to make it worth their while to want the job when the next person leaves. You don't want to not have anybody want your job. Or you're going to get what you pay for.
And I don't think any of us want to drop it to where we're getting uncertified, like people with not a good resume. I mean, I think that's why we need to hear you guys. So what's your answer? What do you think? Because I asked that of Amy. We spoke last week. Like we hear us as commissioners, we always hear that's not a good idea. Y'all shouldn't do that. But I always try to ask, so what's the answer? Because we have to find that answer.
Right.
Because so I did like a 10-year rundown. It's 1.221 million roughly of our payouts to elected officials. If we did just a 3% raise in year 10, it would be 1.641, which would be about a 35% increase to where we are now, which is about 2 cents a tax rate there. So I think there is an issue, but I think a lot of the people that said that's not a good idea to drop it that low. And I've talked with Dwight or Commissioner Kirksey. I don't think he thinks that like he's sold on that. I think
I wasn't all about.
That's a baseline of like where, he has been open to say like, that might be too low, but what do you like? What are the reason, like you guys here as elected officials, what is the solution that you would tell us to think in our shoes? Like if you're in this chair, what would you think long term? Like what is the solution on this situation?
I think that if we just dropped it, say maybe 9,000 for each elected official, that, kind of helps. It's not a dramatic decrease to where we do have employees coming, to run, or elected officials to run for those positions. It's still, a higher pay, and it doesn't go down too low to where these deputies, because some positions on that other one, the deputies are making more than the elected officials, so that really wouldn't work out as well. Or there was just a slight, maybe $400 a month more that the elected official would make over their top assistant. So, but I think maybe if maybe 9,000 a year, 10,000 a year would kind of just lower it back down a little bit, but still kept it up there to where it's, it's worth it.
So,
That's my own opinion.
so my possible solution would be to drop it a percentage, like 10 to 15% of what that salary is, to where even as we give raises, you have that baseline of where it's going to be 10% less than what they're making now, or like whatever that percentage is, to where, 5 years from now, there's not like a hard number. It's whatever that raise is up to in 5 years, it's going to be 10 to 15% lower than that. I don't know if that would be, because there's a lot of different situations with, multiple commissioners, multiple JPs. There's a lot of different scenarios of.
Do y'all see an issue with, say we dropped it a percentage or a flat number, say, over the years? As an incumbent running for the office, if you have an opponent, do you see that that's an issue? Because your opponent could say, elect me, you're automatically saving taxpayers' money.
That's going to be a huge problem. Yes, it will.
That's a drop in the bucket of drop. That's the incumbent's responsibility to say that's 0.0001% of your tax base. It's a
This
negligence.
is a 10% difference.
But then a lot of times, a lot of people don't hear, they don't care, they hear,
They hear that one
I
thing.
save it money, save it,
Yep,
and they don't
and
care.
it can sway votes. Then you're also.
Think about everything.
You're also gonna have to include department heads in this conversation because you're gonna have department heads making more than your elected officials if you lower it.
Yeah,
If
Yeah.
you lower it a few $1,000s,
Yeah.
then people that have to run for office and pay their money in aren't gonna be making the money that somebody's pretty much got a retirement job.
JP would be one of them, and
Huh?
JP would be one of them if you lowered it 10,000. A lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta start including other people in this conversation then.
We have to be careful because, I want to be here for at least, if the voters vote me, for at least 16 years. So today we could say, don't worry about it. But I'm hoping in 10 years we'll have to look at this because whatever decision, again, and we're not trying to make a decision today. It is a topic we need to talk about. But there will be a time where we might have to say, we can't give raises. We can't
I think,
do this.
I think that's a great idea because if you slow the raises, inflation will balance you back out over a period of time.
Yeah.
So you slow the raises down a little bit and you will get back to where you want to be without making drastic drops or
But I want
inflation's going to drop your wages.
elected officials to know, to hear that you're saying, well, you can't do that. Well, there will have to be a day, somebody's gonna have to make a decision. Something's gonna have to be frozen or stopped or evaluated.
You can't stay on the same.
Yeah, we can't
path
be
you're-
on the track we're on now and be like, oh, well, it's okay. That's someone else's problem. I remember when everybody got bailout money and everybody's like, well, that's gonna be my grandchildren's problem. Well, I don't want that passed on to our grandkids. It's gonna be our problem, or mine, I hope, if voted, but it will be my grandchildren's problem and I don't want to do that. But when I propose this, everything I propose is always that, a proposal.
right.
I will not,
Just a starting
yeah,
point.
people's like, Dwight, that was dumb. I'll be like, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm still gonna eat cheesecake tonight and be fine. So, but I do want to have the topic, a discussion about it, and I appreciate y'all being willing to talk about it. That's pretty awesome to me. And I think the elected officials, it'd be good if you if you're leaving or, as you're writing your budgets each year, think about your departments, your employees, and think about yourself. What would it take? Like Chris asked Carrie, what would be a good base salary? You know more than we would about what someone coming in, because the worst thing is you don't want someone who's been here 30 years, even in your departments, and then you bring someone new and they make the exact same. How does that feel? I don't know. How's that feel to you guys?
That wouldn't work for that's not a good idea.
It hurts morale.
Well, somebody may be here for 30 years and they're making a lot more money and then. No, that's.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are things we gotta think about. And I know everyone says, well, like Carrie said, we want to pay good quality. Really, that's a character thing. I paid someone $19 an hour, but their character, they were amazing. We paid people $100,000 and their character, they just didn't show up, do things, didn't handle things. So that's a character thing.
And also people want to get paid for the job that they're performing. And they can have all the good character in the world, but you still got to put food on the table and gas in your tank.
Yeah.
So what's a
That's what I'm
good,
talking about.
so what's a good JP starting salary if somebody came in? Because I mean, like he was mentioning, I would be, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
I was letting you think. I didn't. Because like, if I'm blessed with this position for a while, I would be kind of offended if somebody came in and made what I was making after I
Right.
gave
Right.
a decade, 12 years, something to the county.
I
So
mean,
like for JP, what would be a good?
Well, probably at least 57, 58, I would think, because
So that'd be about 10%. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
they do have the same responsibilities that I have going in. I
Right.
mean, even if I'm there for 16 years. Well,
It's still the same job.
It's still the
Yeah.
same job. It's still the calls, it's still the report, it's still doing what you have to do. I get that. It's still the training you have to get yearly. But to drop it drastically, like the 10,000 or whatever, I think that would be. I mean, you're making less than what some of the deputies make and. Even not much more than what your clerk makes.
So I was gonna say, not even that, the difference there, our difference between what we make and our clerk makes is not a huge difference. So if it's cut by $10,000, then at the end of the day, at that point, your clerk's making more than you are. They get to clock out at 6 o'clock. And you don't, like,
That's
you literally work.
And see, and that's another issue of this dynamic problem is that since we pay so well as a county, we're gonna have to need some help from department heads and elected officials that when new people come in, maybe they, like Commissioner Kersey was saying, they don't make
What the person
they've been
left,
making.
you know,
we talked-
Understood.
there needs to be a
So
starting
it's-
pay.
And
it's-
that's what, I know that's what, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I mean, that's what, like, our JP courts, that's what we did. We started them in at a clerk 2, I think is what, and then you move up. Or no, there's actually 3 steps and
Mhm.
then start down and then. I mean, they've been with us, Lon's been with me for the whole time I've been in office, so. Of course, she's up to the clerk 1 because she's gone to the schools and she's better time now.
Good. And yeah, and y'all do have that, like there are, like you mentioned, like there are departments that don't have that where we maybe can't require that, but we hope that,
Yeah.
and it kind of funnels down. And I love that there's so many elected officials here because I know, you and I mean, we've talked that sometimes people do feel like it's like a battle coming in here, but I mean, we all do need to work together and ask questions where we understand. And I really am glad that all y'all are here because, I don't know what you do. I don't, we need to have those conversations. What is a comparable salary or a competitive salary? Because we have all these problems that we have to make decisions on. But I mean, if we don't include you guys, then we are gonna look like idiots because we make it just blindly.
I
So
think if we talk to y'all, come up here when we get ready to discuss your department, I think that will help.
And we're a place to come up here and give our point of view because, we don't pretend to know your job, you don't pretend to know ours. I mean, you gotta ask questions, like you said. That's the only way you're gonna get,
And what's cool is you as department heads, y'all can start this now. You can start as you hire people and start this tier program that would help the county in the long run. As I said, I love that we're talking about it, but we don't have to have a solution today. It's the fact that we're talking about it is getting us in a direction of being aware, because I would hate 10 years from now, we're all like, oh my goodness, did you see insurance rates? We're gonna have to start cutting salaries.
so what are other counties that may be in the same predicament?
Oh, there's a.
The same.
254 counties.
I can understand that would be a tough.
Well, as I stated, most of the counties aren't in the position we're in, because they're like some commissioners, we make more than Potter County commissioners make. We have paid, we've been so blessed in Hudson County, we pay good salaries. So the other counties are just trying to get them up to their elected positions.
I've always been told that one of the reasons why Hutchinson County salaries are higher than other counties our size is because of the workforce competition in Hutchinson County with the higher paying industries.
Oh, yeah. that's
And
good.
so they brought the pay up for the county officials just so we can get good quality people.
And y'all, as you talk to other JPs and treasurers, y'all know we're blessed in Hudson County. And so it's really kind of a cool thing, but it's also a unique thing. Because when you call another county and say, how much do you pay sheriffs, or how much do you pay this? They're like, oh, well, we pay this. How much do y'all pay? I'm like, it doesn't matter.
just start drinking.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about it. And they're like, no, tell me. And they say, oh, we'd love to be in your situation. But regardless of that, we still need to have the conversation, because we never want our salaries to outweigh our services. And in 10 to 15 years, we could be in that place.
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially.
I mean, in the past, I think we've been blessed baseline, but we also, I think we've gotten used to just every year, well, it's a guaranteed raise. We're gonna get a raise, like
But that's not true. We
So-
haven't given a raise every year.
very few times have we not though, like 1 out of every 15 years. I mean, there have been, on the history thing, there's only, I've had it. Kathy sent it to me several years ago. But I mean, most of the time there is a raise that's given. So I mean, even changing that, like we were talking about not raising, giving raises. I mean, if that happens, we need to understand that we're at the baseline, we are blessed. So if there's not a raise, it's not saying you aren't doing your job. We're just saying, well, I mean, we're trying to be maybe catching up with inflation, like they said. I mean, things like, it's not like we're coming to attack you, but like sometimes when we make those decisions, it does seem as like, why do we get a raise this year? I mean, at the baseline, I mean, we like, especially during COVID, like we have a great job, we have a good paycheck now. I mean, sometimes if we don't give it a raise, it's not that we don't care about people, it's just that we're trying to care about our employees long term, like down the road.
Nobody wants a pay cut.
What Judge mentioned out was important. I was in the private sector for 20 years. When I go out, try to hire somebody, using Phil or Philip of the county, hire them. I can't pay them. I can't pay them enough. And that's not to say that where you're at is where you should be, but if you have that advantage, somewhat of an advantage, it's really helpful. That you're not kind of getting the bottom of the barrel.
I agree.
And while we're talking about, I'll just throw my 2 cents on county attorney. So if you think about people running for office, for most of the other offices, except one that requires TCO license, anybody with a filing fee can run. Not in the county attorney position. There's probably 1 or 2 attorneys now that would be qualified and that would even run. And so when you think about in the future, what should that salary be? You have to think about who you're going to attract. Because hopefully we have more attorneys whenever I get ready to hang it up, and hopefully I get to wait and do that later. But at that point, hopefully there's more attorneys, but there might not be. And that pool is just really small. And so when you set that salary, you kind of got to think about that.
Well, I'm hoping y'all set it. Honestly, the department heads proposed to us. Now we'll set it as commissioners. but When this day gets closer, where we have to evaluate, I would love for the department head to say, hey, here's what I think would be.
This is my
beneficial.
input.
Yeah, and that would be amazing because we don't know that aspect as we've stated. So pretty cool, but someone had to start the talk and I did. I'm sorry if I made y'all nervous or upset, but I'm glad we started the talk and it makes me feel good that we're even talking about it today. And you was like, well, as long as you feel good, Dwight, that's what we're here for.
That's right.
Okay, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure.
That's not it.
Okay.
That could be a lengthy conversation, but.
My feelings or.
Yes, that could be too. Does anybody else want to make a comment about that before we move on today?
Thank you though.
Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate y'all being here, giving us some feedback. All right, what else, Lisa, on budget?
One thing that I would like for us to discuss is the raises that y'all have proposed that are in the budget. Was $200 a month. Does that apply to all new hires as soon as they?
So they're already in this proposed budget, right?
The staff that we have on board now, yes.
Right. The proposed
But say-
200 a month.
Say Carrie loses a deputy and hires one first thing next year, does that salary apply then, or does it?
Didn't Kathy bring this up?
We talk about it every year.
Mhm. Yeah.
Same thing.
Official on where they want to put.
I thought there was a policy.
Well, I don't know if I didn't mean to interrupt you. I mean, if there's not money in the budget, the department head has to decide like if they're gonna make that raise.
Or if they've just been hired, they
Like-
start to work to tomorrow, so do they already get their raise?
So what if they were hired September 1? And the raises go into effect October 1, do they get the raise?
Money's not in the budget. It's the department head's decision. But if we don't have a policy, we definitely need to
Well,
make.
I mean, it would be in the budget.
I could have swore there was a policy.
If they've only been working there a month and they already get a raise,
I thought there was
that's what I'm
a,
saying.
I thought there was a 90-day.
Yeah, we've talked.
Last
about
week, I
that.
remember us talking about this.
That was for the money, that 2,000.
Well, I remember
Yeah,
that, but I think
Uh,
in 3 years that I've done county
Retention.
budgets, we've talked about this.
Yeah, it's been brought up every year.
Yeah,
do we never make a
I
decision?
don't know.
Well, we do every time, but
I can't remember what
if
we
there's
did.
not a
about it.
policy, we need to make a policy to have black and white.
I really can't recall what we decided on that.
I mean, logically, I don't think we gave them a raise unless they were.
One of the sheriff's deputies last year that came in at that time of budget were increased to that full amount. So I would say there's not, it's up to that elected official. Now, however y'all want to do the department heads, you know, that are y'all are over that, but it is up to the elected official as long as it's in their.
So if you hired someone September 1, what you're saying, if you potentially hired someone September 1, you could say they don't need to get the raise in October.
Correct.
They can
Yes.
be at the same
And that's
salary.
What you should do as an elected official, but that's not how it normally happens, unfortunately.
Mm.
But yes, that's kind of what happened last year.
We need to set a policy.
Yeah, we need a
How we want to
policy
do
for
this.
that.
I don't think it should be random. Just
The money's gonna be in the budget, but we need to set a policy that
Yeah.
there's gonna be extra money left over because they don't get that raise.
And I'm not 100% sure if we did add something like that when we did the employee manual.
I can't
I would
remember.
have to go back
don't.
and look because I'm not sure if that might have been what you might be thinking of for why. But that would be something that I would have to go back and look.
Can you pull up the employee manual?
But it kind of goes with what we were just talking about is
Hey,
if there's not a policy,
on our
department heads can kind of
can you pull
take a little ownership of that to kind of say, hey, you know, you haven't been here 6 months, let's just keep rocking and rolling.
They really suggest having like a policy within your. So
Department,
your department. So even though you're elected official, so you actually go in with a policy and have that to where there's actually, okay, if you're here for a year, this is what you'll get paid, you know, so on and so forth. So that way there is some kind of tier and not just put on at that budget, whatever's budgeted. So I think that's why we're having these issues, really, to be honest. And which we want our employees are good employees and want to make stuff they can, and I understand that too. But those are things that we could do as elected officials as well.
It's only set for vacation.
We don't
I
have a
don't think it would be part of the compensation.
We have
Policy
vacation, sick
on-
leave, and that's about it.
raises.
yeah, I remember Kathy talking about, it, but I don't remember typing it.
I don't think we've ever actually made a hard and fast decision, policy.
Of course, I don't remember typing.
Maybe it should be the same as vacation.
You have to work there a year. It's like vacation. You don't earn your vacation until you've been there a year. So you wouldn't earn any raises until you've been there a year.
Be
I'm
eligible
not sure
for
what
a
needs
raise.
to be a policy, then the department head have to drive to the budget. And if you don't have money in the budget, we have to come back to y'all and ask for it.
It's gonna be there though.
Huh?
Like if we approve the budget at who you have now with the raise already factored in, they're gonna get that. The money's gonna be there for the raise.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking about
But-
people like the sheriff that have vacancies. Where they have like they're down 3 or 4 deputies.
They're gonna get that raise.
Right, okay.
It's gonna be budgeted in there and that's when it has to revert to the elected official to say there's a policy, but we're not gonna listen to that, or we are. Because elected officials, I mean, they kind of set their own decisions, I
They
guess,
don't
on,
have to give
but-
that raise. Yeah, they can.
yeah, but they don't have to,
Budget.
but
Yeah.
I think we need a policy where we just,
This needs a policy, not.
we don't just say, well, we hope you don't give the raise, that we say that should be policy.
I could be mistaken, but I really don't remember typing anything like.
Cause
I didn't see anything else.
spend it.
My brain would remember something, but I remember going, I don't know what. it is. I don't remember typing anything like that.
I don't remember anything.
We definitely need one.
And so it's just something that needs to be thought of before we make the adopted. I just need to know what numbers to put into the budget. The other is copy machine lease. I finally got the invoices, so I can go through and update those copy line items to what they need to be for this new lease that we got on. And then the district judges' salary supplements. So they get, they get a state salary and then they get a supplement from the county as well. If the county supplement goes over $18,000, it reduces their state wages. Judge Brancho, I know, was good with that because the $200 a month raise is going to put them over $18,000 a year from us. So Brancho was good with going over and it reducing his state wages. I have not heard from Judge Mosley yet. He was going to contact me.
What were they, 18 for?
15, 15,265 with the proposed raise, it'll make it 18,200.
So when we give raises to our employees, it goes to that stipend? I
It
didn't-
has in
I
the,
didn't know that.
Because that's money
That's
the
the
county
only-
pays.
Yeah, that's the only thing we pay.
only
Yeah.
county
Right.
stuff.
Right.
Yeah, not like supplements
State,
that
from the
come from.
state.
Oh, okay, okay.
No,
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And it didn't go to the, so Jerry's, his is broken out as a fire marshal stipend. So the 200 went on his emergency manager.
Yes, yeah, because we're only paying the 10,000 for the fire marshal portion. That's why I didn't understand. I didn't know that the,
Like the juvenile gets some state supplements, but we didn't add them to that.
right,
Because that's
so
state.
we only do that with the district
Anything
judges.
paid out of the county.
Do we do that with the DA? So when we give everybody a raise, it goes towards the stipend that we're paying the
Yes.
DA.
What's he giving?
I look at those numbers.
his salary supplement.
Oh, there it is.
Anything else, Leisha? We need to call our
I
attention.
got the number that I was waiting on for the legal piece,
Yes.
so I will add that in.
And what do you have our contingency at right now?
Right now, the contingency is set at 500,000.
Okay. So that's in this budget.
Yes.
Any
Oh,
other?
and one other thing that I would like to, for the court to kind of make a policy on, is jury meals. We reimburse the jurors for their meals. Practice has been in the past to do actual. So they just bring us a receipt. We, cut them a check for what they spent. I think Hansford and Appletree do like a flat, I think it's maybe $10 or $15 for the lunch. I would recommend doing that because sometimes, some people bring in it's $9, some people bring in it's $18. And so that way everybody would get the same amount if we just sat.
What's our lunch for our per diem? What do we pay? Is it $12.50? 15 for lunch,
For travel.
25 for supper?
Something like that. You think I know that?
Well, you'd think I know that too, but it used to be $12.50. 15.
It is 15 for lunch.
That'd be my thought, 15 flat fee. Y'all good with that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I will
print those off in minutes and make that up.
And does that have to be a policy or just our standard practice?
Eventually, I would like to get kind of an accounts payable policy in
Okay.
place where it lists out all that kind of stuff. But with it being in the minutes and knowing that y'all agreed and that's what you decided upon. I have something to go off of.
Okay.
I think that's all that I have about the budget.
Okay. So are you guys ready to set a proposed tax rate? You have questions or more discussion? Okay, item 33 on the agenda is to consider and or approve the proposed tax rate. So remember, when they propose a tax rate, we can always go down, but we can't go up. So. Normally, our practice has been to set the tax rate, and then when we adopt, we usually go down to where we land at. So thoughts, discussion on that.
The voter approved rate is what?
Voter approved rate is 0.599714.
0.59.
59.
5997114.
Say that again?
599,714.
5996.
Oh, gosh.
Under the.
Yeah. 599,714. No new is 0.53. We're at 5.6. And we've been at 5.6. Well, no, we lowered it last year. Yeah, we-
Last year?
Yeah, yeah.
We lowered it last year. Okay, what do y'all think about setting a proposed tax rate at where we're at right now?
I like that.
56.
I like that.
With that.
Yeah, I don't see us going any higher than that. We'll definitely lower.
We could go down.
Right.
Starting point.
Okay, so that sounds like we're in agreement with that, but I need a motion unless y'all want to talk some more.
Proposed is that record vote or is that the actual?
No, it's just, I think we just do it. Record vote has to be the actual adopted tax rate.
Is that like the roll call?
Yes, like
Those are fun to watch.
she has to put everybody's
Gotta put your name.
name.
Now.
Yeah.
Monday. It's a Monday.
It is. All right, so do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to set the tax rate at 0.56.
Proposed tax rate.
Proposed tax rate.
Okay. 0.56. Okay, there's been a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And now this proposed tax rate includes the $200 a month proposed raise for everybody. That's what's already in the budget that we talked about last time. Everyone's still good with that because we got to get public notices in the paper.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Okay. Discussion. Okay, we have a motion and a second to set the proposed tax rate at 0.56. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Anybody got anything else? Do I? Yes? Oh, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I'll make a motion. to
Okay.
adjourn.
For a second. Okay, all in favor? All right, thank you. Thanks for coming.